It's time to spill the tea on Vegas tea time.
Welcome back, everybody. It's Jeff
And Christina.
with another episode of Vegas Tea Time. We are up to episode 5. We've done a whole month of tea times.
I know.
And with that and the evolution of our podcast and our tea times, we thought we would tweak things a little bit. We're still giving you the tea on all your embarrassing, funny stories, but we're also going to spill the tea on what's currently happening in Vegas, right?
Yeah, because there's always something going on.
Right.
Every day there's at least 3 or 4 things going on.
Exactly. And so we have our monthly news update. So in case you guys haven't seen that, go check that out on our channel. But we've always felt that there's always been news stories, and obviously there's quite a bit of stuff that happens during each week, right? So we thought, what better way to incorporate Vegas tea time with your stories and the spilling the tea, so to speak, of the headlines of Vegas. Because if Vegas is going to be headlining, we're going to be spilling that Vegas headline tea.
Exactly.
Because there's a lot of headlines lately, right?
There's so many headlines, sometimes I don't know what to do. I'm like, which is more important?
Right.
I mean, everything's important. But, and I know people, they read stuff too, of course, so they know kind of what's going on. But then there's a lot of people that I have found, or we have found, that don't always keep up on everything.
Exactly.
Some people, seriously, and I'm not saying this in a negative way, some people still don't know that the Mirage is closed.
I know.
Some people don't realize that the Trump came down. And these are like, again, I'm not being negative at people, but these are huge stories that we just expect people know. They don't even know that Mirage is turning into the Hard Rock.
I know.
They don't know that the guitar is going up there.
Right.
Some people don't even realize that not only is the Mirage closed, the volcano's gone.
Right.
There's just so much that happens. I think some people just don't keep up with it because they're like, we'll go. And then they come and they're like, what happened?
What's
going on?
When everybody and their mother was reporting on F1 coming.
Right.
And then they come here and go like, what's all this setup?
I know. Well, and that's just it, is there's people that it's not that important in their life.
Right. It's fine.
Absolutely. And there's those that just love Vegas so much.
They got to keep on everything. That's what we're here for.
I was going to say, so instead of, waiting till the end of the month and doing like a story dump, like a, photo dump, and we'll do that anyway. We're just kind of trying to keep it, this is what's happening right now. And then you'll get the monthly, of course, but we just thought, gosh, it's just happening right now. Let's do it every week.
Right.
The JK network.
Right, exactly. We're filling those Vegas headlines week by week, and I think that'll be a really good addition to the stories that you guys send in. And please keep sending those in. We'll leave a link in the description of all these Vegas Tea Time episodes that you can submit your stories. We'd love to hear from you.
We love these stories.
Yeah. So we've got some tea to spill with one of our subscribers that sent in a story, and it seems like a pretty fun one.
Yeah.
And involves somebody that we know as well.
Oh, like personally know them?
Yeah, personally.
Oh, okay.
So this again is, I wouldn't say they were a longtime subscriber, but they have definitely cemented themselves as a loyal J&K Stay in Vegas subscriber, loyal follower. They always leave comments on our videos. They are so supportive and they're so awesome. So let me get into their story.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So they start off. So we turn up in Vegas for the second time after the first visit made me and my wife obsessed with Vegas thanks to some great YouTubers which helped us plan the trip and really make the most of it. On arrival, we realized one of them has arrived in Vegas from San Diego, which we also visited the year before because of watching a bunch of his videos. Guess who, LOL.
I wonder.
Because we were such big fans and really wanted to show our appreciation, we really wanted to bump into him to say thanks. The weather was good on our first day, so we went to Springs Preserve. Afterwards, we thought we might put ourselves at the end of the strip. We thought Jaycation, there I said it,
Jay.
Was probably going to live stream. If you think this already sounds stalkerish, you haven't heard anything yet. One thing always leads to another in Vegas, in a good way, of course. We're walking around Fashion Show Mall, and we were at the very back end of the mall when we saw a YouTube notification pop up that Jay was live at Resorts World. That's close, right?
Yeah, ish.
As they say. So we headed.
It looks close.
Yeah. So we headed back to the Strip and up that deserted bit of land to Resorts World. This is where the fun starts to begin. So here we are hightailing it up to Resorts World, phone in one hand, following the live stream, and holding up my trousers with the other hand to make sure it doesn't become one of them Vegas stories.
Oh, but it would have been fun holding up his trousers.
Keys, wallet, and loose change jingling, we make it to Resorts World, which at this point we had never visited before. So my lovely wife is being really helpful at this point, asking members of staff where things are, which we can see in the live stream. With her help, we finally reach where Jay was. But hold on a second, he's not there. Oh no, YouTube must be lagging. So we start chasing Jay's shadow all around the resort we've never been to before. At some point, we even managed to follow up a second floor. Who even know there was one, right? Well,
yeah, if you've never been there, but
right. There's actually a third, and I think technically a fourth, which is a rooftop.
Yeah.
Anywho, I digress. This is when I was about to give up. I've been chasing this lagging live stream all over Resorts World while completely jet lagged on a day one after flying from, let's just say, a far-flung part of the UK. Just wasn't going to be the night. That's when I see someone walking along the ground floor level past the mini sphere with a gimbal, and he turned around. It was Jay. We found him.
They finally got him.
They said.
Oh, okay. So I'll just wait.
Yeah. I'm like, how do we get back down? Then, as I had one leg over the banister, thinking that can't be much of a jump.
Leg over the banister.
My sensible wife pointed out an escalator. Okay, I wasn't really going to jump, he says.
It's what escalators are for, if they're working.
We shot down the stairs, but Jay had already gone. This was the part I'm starting to wonder how far I should really be going before I realize I'm just some crazy person. But we got so close.
Well, you've gotten that far. You're like, well, we're not giving up now.
Yep.
Just no.
Exactly. So with my ridiculously lagging YouTube, I figure out he's heading back towards Fashion Show Mall. We could have just waited there and cut this story down by like 3 chapters, but no. Here we are now heading back down that random bit of sidewalk trying to catch up with him. Man, does he walk fast. We finally get within reach, but he's approaching a crosswalk, and we all know how long we'd have to wait if he makes it across and we get stuck at a red.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, a long time.
So like the red-faced, out-of-breath, jet-lagged, crazy person I've just accepted, I am right now, I call out, Jaycation! And he looks over and sees us. Hooray! We finally catch up with him and say hello. I'm so glad we did, as Jay is really one of the nicest guys you could ever meet. And in fact, he wound up walking with us a while and chatting. And here we are some years down the line, and we've hung out with Jay a few times. And in fact, it was Jay that introduced us to the wonderful world of J&K.
Aww.
So although I kept hearing that little voice in my head telling me to give up, I'm so glad I didn't, as it really turned out well in the end. I know this is anonymous, but I'm sure there's a few people out there that might remember that live stream. Please pop in a comment if you too have chased down a YouTuber to say hi or thanks. P.S. If you ever meet Jeff and Christina, they are such a wonderful couple.
Aww.
And what you see on the screen is what they're like in real life.
Aww.
That's so untrue.
This is why we love meeting our subscribers.
Yeah.
And I mean, okay.
And that's why we're friends with Jay, because we're very similar in the fact.
Very similar.
He's not cocky.
No.
We don't consider ourselves cocky or arrogant, even though there's a lot of that out there. And it's really hard to make friends, especially with other vloggers that are like competing,
Right.
And especially with people that have your same mindset, right?
Yeah, Jay and us are like,
Yeah.
you know, and we're super sarcastic.
Mm-hmm.
Super sarcastic. I mean, sarcasm should be my middle name. Now, you won't hear it a lot because I try to, kind of tone it down, but I'm super sarcastic. And
Mm-hmm.
so is Jeff. That's why we're together. I know he won't probably admit it, but yeah, we are. So, and Jay's like that. If you
Yeah.
watch his, streams, you know how he is. But
And can I just mention, they're absolutely wonderful family, especially Mom Cation and Dad
oh
Cation.
my God, they're like our family. I
Yeah.
mean, they're so loving and so sweet. And there's so many adjectives that I'd like to put out there because it's just one on top of another. Their family is beyond awesome.
Yeah.
Like, you don't see a lot of families that are like that.
Yeah.
But Mom and Dad Cation, man, if you're watching this,
Mm-hmm.
we love you guys so much.
So that was a funny story, and how it all relates to, we've had that happen before where I've been on a live stream, and
Hey, JK!
and-
Of course, it's him.
and it's funny because everybody has a similar story, because when they finally catch up to me, they're like,
I know. When you were reading that, I'm like, well, that's how they usually are when they finally catch up with you,
like,
you know?
Jeff, JK, I said,
Even downtown.
Yeah, and I'm
because
like-
someone might know that you're down there, so they're trying to follow you, and there's everybody that you gotta, go through, and then that one big crosswalk, and they're just hoping you don't go
I've
through
seen-
that crosswalk.
I've seen, speaking of downtown, I've seen where people have said, we're in a taxi. They put in the chat on the live stream, we're in a taxi heading down there. Walk slow.
I know. Or they're in an Uber. We're gonna Uber right over to you.
Yeah,
And but you keep walking.
right.
You keep because you can't
The
just
good-
sit there and wait.
Yeah, the good thing about Fremont Street is that it's not like the Strip where,
Right, you just keep going all the way.
yeah,
You know.
because I will walk some distance
I know
on the
you
Strip.
do. I know you do. And you walk fast.
So that would be much harder. So if you saw me, like, say at the plaza, and then you're coming down, you're parking, at the other end, it'd be a lot easier because you could just kind of wait for me to circle back.
Right.
But
Well,
yeah.
that's what happened to Deb.
Mm-hmm.
Remember her and her husband? They were trying to get you on the Strip, and I was trying to tell her where you were, and then she's watching, and I'm like, well, he's here, they're watching, and then she got smart, and I think they waited for you at Treasure Island because you were just coming that way,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden they're going to you, Jeff. So yeah,
That's a really good point. Even though it's really hard to do, the better chance of, instead of doing what our subscribers did there, and that's chase you down, which is fine, but save yourself a little bit of a headache and just plant yourself right there.
right.
Because sometimes people will say, hey, we're at such and such, we're at the fountains. And I'll say, I don't know if I'm going to make it that far.
Right,
Because
right.
I'm already an hour and a half into it. I'm
Right.
at Resorts World, for example.
Right.
So,
Or sometimes the unfortunate part is if they're gonna stay somewhere,
right.
and then I'll message you real quick and say, hey, so and so, blah blah blah, but you may not see the text,
Mhm.
and you keep walking and you walk past it. But I'm just saying you can't always look at
Right.
the screen, and it looks much different than watching TV or on a phone, you
Right.
know. So
And then the notification just comes up and then goes away.
yeah, exactly.
And then I'll get home. In fact, then I'll see like 4 of the same messages from Christina. Blah, blah, blah is trying to find you. Blah, blah, blah is trying
I
to find
do
you.
it one after the other. Copy
So that
paste.
way, like, one of them I'll see, and I'm like, oh, she just did that one time.
No.
And then I
Yeah.
get home like, oh, she did it like 4 or 5
yeah,
times.
and I'll do it all in a row, like
Yeah.
within a minute. I copy paste and just keep, pasting it. Like they're trying to find you, but it's very difficult though when he's walking and trying to pay attention to where he's going, and then he's commenting, and so sometimes that's why he doesn't always see everything. He's not ignoring anybody.
Yeah,
he just cannot see everything
I'm
on the
literally
phone.
trying to be like a 360 camera, make sure no crazies behind me, or no drunk college dudes are in front of me, or looking at the chat
The
and my
list
screen
goes-
is like this.
Yeah,
And see where I'm going, and in my head also I'm going like, hey, maybe I should go down the Link Promenade, then I could go up to the Flamingo, and then I could kind of go by Horseshoe, but then I think I don't want to walk that far, but then I can cross over to Cosmo. All that's going in my mind too.
I know.
Because then
and-
I'm looking at the time like, okay, I've been on for an hour, and say it takes me, there's 2 squirrels minus 4 acorn nuts
Totally.
minus 5 cats. You know,
No, it
just
is
like the
like
dog,
that.
just like the dog thing. That's really where my head is going.
I
Like,
know, and I try to
but
explain that in chat, but I know people don't see it
yeah,
because they're watching where you're going and listening to you. And I know there's some people that have actually gotten a little upset, like, well, he hasn't answered me, and I'll be like, I know, but he probably just didn't see
yeah,
your question or whatever. Even though I'm there and talking to them, I know they want to hear from you. I
yeah,
mean, I totally get that, you know.
and I think, and I've been told that I'm pretty good about reading all the chat,
Hmm.
but there's sometimes, whether there be environmental reasons, someone around me,
Right.
and I'm just concentrating on looking ahead.
Hmm.
Or sometimes I may be doing one of these.
Yeah,
And
what
so,
you guys don't realize, Jeff is really good at this.
and
So if he's got someone behind him, he has this thing, and I don't even
well, I
know
think
how to
it's
do
like
it.
anybody, like you can have that sixth sense of
But you've got
somebody.
so much going on around you, and you still feel that somebody's behind you, too close behind you, following for maybe
And
a
sometimes it's
reason.
really innocent because they're
Right.
kind of going like, oh, what,
Right.
is he live streaming?
But you still know.
Yeah.
And so if he ever is live streaming and he's talking and all of a sudden he just slowly or just kind of says, "Oh, let's, look over here." He's moving around so he's not just keep, going straight. If somebody is looking to pickpocket him or whatever the reason may be, he knows. And so that's why you kind of move around to be like, yeah, I know you're back there.
Well, and that's what's hard to read all the chat, even if I'm just looking ahead for like 30 seconds, because what you guys don't know, we've said this in the past before, but the app that we use, I literally have about this much chat
Mhm.
because it's in landscape form like this. So I'm looking at the phone. And so with that, there's literally about that much of a chat.
Mhm.
So that amounts to about 3, maybe 4 people. So if somebody puts like a few sentences, then it's like 2 people that I see.
Right, and
So
it goes up
yeah,
and
so
it's done.
yeah, and I mean I can scroll back, but that's what happens is that then I'm walking ahead for like 30 seconds even, and you'll maybe hear me go like, I got to catch up with the chat now. And that's where I try to scroll back
Right.
and try to catch up. But even then, even when I'm like, scrolling back, I'll still miss some people.
Well, then there's some nights. I mean, fortunately, it's nice, but there are nights when there's a lot of people in there, and it's going blah, 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 just
Yeah.
really quickly.
Yeah.
And even I can't keep up because when you try to scroll down, it just goes right back up again. And
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I saw this comment by whoever, and I'm trying to scroll down really slowly and look for the name, and the next thing you know, more messages come in, and and I can't find it. So those are things that I apologize for constantly because I can't go back and look at that exact message or who sent it, because
Yep.
it won't let me.
Yeah.
Technically, it won't let me.
And especially too, like we're talking about environmental factors. I can
Mhm.
talk. And especially during the summertime
Oh,
when there's a lot of heat and I'm hot,
the phone's hot.
the phone is hot, and all that. The weather here in Vegas can get me really distracted. But you know what? Speaking of which, we had some actual weather.
Rain.
We had rain here in Vegas. And not just a little bit, which we're used to, like a sprinkle here and
Yeah,
there.
it's like, oh, it's supposed to rain. Yeah.
We had like 3 to 4 days of rain that started on Saturday.
On your stream when you
Well,
were coming down.
Yeah, and I kind of feel bad because I kind of left the title up there. It says rain and windy,
Well, you
but
didn't
it was
know.
literally downpouring when I was coming down to the strip. But then when I got down there, it kind of cleared up. But then the very next day on Sunday, we really got hit with a lot of rain. And if you guys don't know, rain here in Vegas, we get, and I said it on the live stream, if we get a half an inch, and I can't remember what the final ending, I think it was like 0.4 something, the official reading is at Harry Reid. And
I think, like, for all the days,
yeah,
I think they said it was like 1.44. Like, it was insane.
it doesn't take much to flood us all over the valley. And if I remember, I was looking at Vintage Las Vegas's account. Got some great. We love
Oh,
that
I
history.
love that. Yeah.
I never realized this is the first time I've actually and I look at all these 8mm old footage of the 50s and 60s of these cars driving down the strip.
Mhm.
This is the first time I've seen the video right at the Flamingo, which is the Flamingo like the Capri thing.
Oh, right, right.
And it's the first time I've seen a shot where they stood there at the Flamingo Wash. So back in the day when Caesar's Palace would get
Oh.
all flooded, and there's this huge flood that happened in the 60s and
Right.
the 70s.
Right.
That's the Flamingo Wash, and I saw, if I can find the clip again, I'll insert it. But that is why the link promenade or the link underneath always floods.
I was just gonna say because it's right there.
Even though they've done a lot to try to divert, but that is a wash that comes all the way from the west in the mountains.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting to see that whole wash with nothing around
Nothing
there.
around
You know,
it.
just east.
I'll
It was
have to
just
look.
desert. And it was so cool to see. But, you know, the weather, again, my point being is the weather here in Vegas, if we just get a little bit of rain,
Yeah.
and even though some of our friends in other parts of the world or other parts of the
I know
country,
they're rolling our eyes, and
Yeah.
it's like, oh, geez, you got how much rain? No, it's like we do live out in the desert, and it does rain.
and there's
it does
nowhere for it to
snow.
go.
Yeah, there's
So
nowhere.
if you guys got 0.4 inches in say the state of New York,
Right.
you'd be like,
Seriously?
seriously,
Seriously,
that's,
with you guys,
that's
like,
literally like a sprinkle for us.
right.
But in here, the desert, there's nowhere for the rain to get absorbed and to go.
No,
And that's why we have flooding.
And people get really freaked out. I mean, a lot of you guys know that the link is just like that. It's made like that because it's that wash to get it out of the link and get it out of the parking lot. So, but there's a lot of people that don't know, and they see that and they freak out. And we're
They're
like,
like-
it's supposed to be like that. It's okay. It does it whenever it rains.
Even though I think that they were really trying to, before, when they made the promenade, that was back in 2014, they did make accommodations to try and have that not be so severe.
yeah,
But it's
but
still
it is. It's
it's
bad.
still the same way.
But hey, this is the first time I didn't hear anything about flooding or leaking of the hotels.
Oh no.
I just
I
realized
did. I saw
Oh, maybe I wasn't on
I
enough.
saw a post from the Yard House in Town Square.
Oh, well, I meant okay.
Literally waterfalls of water coming in
You're kidding.
inside the front door where the hostess stand is.
Yeah.
Just a pile of waterfall coming in.
Oops.
And again, that is where, like, you could even say, like, how the hell could a hotel, just so you know,
Mm-hmm.
working in hotels and being in a lot of different ones, every hotel in Vegas leaks.
Leaks. Mm-hmm.
I'm just, it's not bad engineering. It just leaks. Who remembers just, a year or so ago in Circa, the sports book,
That's what I
the
was just
huge
thinking.
leak.
Yeah, right in this part, and it was flooded.
Yeah.
It was awful.
Mandalay Bay a few years ago had a huge water come down
Mm-hmm.
in the convention area.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it doesn't matter even if you're not next to the wash where, say, like Mandalay Bay is.
Right.
It doesn't take much to really screw up life
No.
here in Vegas. We are very happy we get the water.
No,
and
we
we
really
need
are.
the rain.
And we love. I do. We do. It depends on if you're out or not. But if I'm home, I love the monsoons.
Yeah.
I love it at night, especially.
And we
when-
posted that on our social media from like last year when
and
we
yeah,
had out of our front window and it was just coming down.
pouring.
And that was the thing, like even on like Tuesday was even like the last day of rain, and yet it was pretty much sunny skies for everybody. Yet there's some people in town, like in Deep Henderson by Boulder City, that got hail and
Yeah.
like hail, and you could see like blue sky.
Oh, I know.
And
Because
people are
those
like,
clouds
"What?"
just open up, and they're like, surprise.
And May is I think is the second driest month, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
So to get this, we set
Yeah.
some other records.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Because
anyway,
it's usually like July, August, September that's when we get the humidity, and we know, oh, it's coming.
yep,
You just got to be you just as soon as you feel that humidity,
yep.
it's on. We're getting it. We're
And
gonna.
that's and the in the wintertime, we get the, from the Alaska, if the jet stream's just right, we'll get that cold front that moves across LA. If it makes it over the hump to Vegas,
it's cold.
then we'll get that nice cold weather and sometimes snow. During, like you were saying, during the monsoons, we get that southerly, from the tropics and all that.
And it cools down so much, but just for a short while. But it's
for like a half hour to an hour, you'll be used to those 105 degrees, and all of a sudden it'll drop to like 75, and you're like,
I remember one year it went lower than that because I was like, oh, burr, because I went outside barefoot, and I'm out there and I'm like, oh, this is so nice, and dogs are out there, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, now it's going to be colder than I expected. So I love the monsoons, but no one wants to be driving in that when the rain hits.
That PSA is all about that.
Yeah, in fact, they're still looking for somebody that didn't follow the rules about not driving through the water. Every year. It's, not trying to be negative, but it happens every single year. Yeah.
So the rain is definitely an added entertainment here in Vegas.
It is, because you never know what's going to happen.
And speaking of entertainment, you like that segue?
Yeah, that was perfect.
Yeah. Fremont Street Experience just announced their Downtown Rocks lineup. You know those free concerts you get on Fremont Street during the summer? Well, they just
I love
released...
those. At first, I was kind of like, yeah, okay, that's cool. Do I want to go for any of these? I don't know. It's going to be hot.
They are a little bit all over the place.
They are. And then I saw Ugly Kid Joe, and I have to go to that. Those are my rocker chick days.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I got to see them.
So you've got on the first weekend, Memorial Day weekend, these are all Saturdays.
Yeah.
Well, Memorial Day weekend's got the 2 days. So on the 24th, you got Saliva, Drowning Pool, and Hinder. And the next day on the 25th, you've got Jet and Alien Ant Farm.
I haven't seen, oh my God, it's been years, Alien Ant Farm.
June 7th, you have Buckcherry. And then 2 weeks from then, you really switch things up.
Yeah, like, what?
June 21st, you've got Robin Thicke.
Yeah.
July 4th,
Whiplash.
Craig Morgan.
Yep.
August 30th, it jumps to Toad the Wet Sprocket, Vertical Horizon, Dishwalla, and 9 Days.
Yeah.
August 31st, which that's probably why they're going like that, is pre-Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
August 31st, Our Lady Peace, Ugly Kid Joe, and Sponge. I'll ask you in a second. Settle down now. September 6th, Candlebox and Cracker. And September 20th, the last one is Zebra. So tell me, Christina, what is Ugly Kid Joe about, and why are they so good?
What is Ugly Kid Joe about? What, are they a book?
Yeah.
A movie?
What's their story?
No, because they're fun. They're just they're like a college fun band, and somehow they intertwined with the, back in the day, my Hollywood days so Ugly Kid Joe is the opposite of the other band that was popular in Hollywood at the time, was Pretty Boy Floyd. So I know you've heard me kind of sometimes listen to them. I'm all over the place with music, seriously. But they were all like makeup and, the whole thing. And so Ugly Kid Joe is like no makeup, no like bubblegum rock look or anything. They kind of look like a bunch of surfer dudes. And
so they were literally a band just trolling another band.
In a way, yeah, but they're really talented. So yeah, Ugly Kid Joe, they're just a fun band. I mean, but they're good though. They are talented.
I wonder how many people, even especially our audience, would know that story.
I would like to know who
Pretty
knows.
Boy Floyd was.
I doubt that. But
was Ugly Kid Joe got their name because they literally went ugly, pretty, Floyd Joe, right? And
Pretty Boy Kid.
Oh,
boy, kid.
Yeah.
I mean, however they did it, I don't know. But yeah, they just came on the scene and they were playing like, I believe they were playing like the Roxy and a Whiskey. I can't remember. It was so long ago.
We're going to have to go to that show.
Yeah, I just want to go for that.
All right.
All right. Well, they're not the headliner, but I just really want to hear them. I got to hear them sing.
If they're a fun band, then I'm all for it.
Yeah, well, they're certainly not Mark Slaughter. I used to love Slaughter, but honey, come on. like
Yeah.
as in like Mark.
Yeah.
I know you live in Las Vegas and everything, and I really love Slaughter. What is my favorite song by Slaughter? My anthem, Up All Night.
Sleep all day. That's right. Up all night. Sleep all day.
You know, that was like my anthem back in Hollywood. Up all night, sleep all day. That was like,
Was that in like the mid 1900s or something like that?
you watch your mouth. Yeah,
Well,
as the
anyway,
kids
I'm going to get
say.
out of this. So Downtown Rocks, that is the schedule that Fremont Street Experience just
They
released
released.
this past week,
Hmm.
and giving you all the what's happened this past week.
And if you don't get all that, you can always pause the TV, or you can go down. You can go to FremontRocks.com. Anything with Fremont
It's
Street.
Downtown
Fremont.
Rocks,
Yeah.
Fremont Street Experience.
Yeah. Well, yeah, on the Fremont Street Experience. So, but I think it'd be fun. All the bands are fun though. You go down there, you get drunk, you drink, you go with your friends, you listen to music. I mean, that's how it's done.
Speaking of music,
Oh,
did
there's
you
a
hear
lot.
what Bay did?
Yeah, Bay.
Yeah.
Oh, Queen Bee.
Queen Bee, did you hear what she did?
Yes, I did. It was it kind of made some people mad over at the Sphere.
What
Over
happened?
at Sphere. The Sphere. Why did they just say Sphere? Like it doesn't
And it's
sound
technically
right.
MSG Sphere.
Yeah, but they
And now
just
it's
want to go
the
Sphere. No,
But it does say on there, even their stuff, I think it has a little "the" in there, doesn't it?
no, it just says Sphere, and I've got schooled a few times by. It's not the Sphere, it's Sphere. Okay, I'm sorry, but when you live here, you just gotta go the Sphere. I'm not with tourism. I don't care.
All the Vegas experts that don't live in Vegas.
Yeah,
Like we
exactly.
do.
So apparently,
Yeah.
she did a video. It's a promo for her tour that she's on right now, and
But isn't this the one where it's like a big video screen intermission in the concert?
yeah, and exactly. And she's like, all of like, I don't even remember how many feet high walking around Vegas. And I didn't see it because it's been taken down already. It's already
did.
been. Oh, did you? I looked and I'm like, all right, I know the story. But yeah, she like sees Sphere and she like picks it
This
up.
was
her
in
tap.
LA though, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Because
So
it's like she's almost promoting her Vegas dates coming up.
right.
Because
and
it's
that's-
only like a 9-city date.
yeah, something
tour,
like that.
right?
Yeah. And so she tapped it and picked it up.
Yeah.
Was that the whole thing?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, she
like
went like kind of like this.
this.
Yeah.
So the Sphere got very angry about that. At first, when I heard the story, I'm like, who cares? So, so she's promoting Sphere, but then I realized, oh. So, yeah, she made them angry because they've been in talks with her back and forth to play there. And she has, she opted for Allegiant Stadium, obviously. And so that's
you
why they
figure-
were
well,
angry.
It's just frickin' business, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the Sphere holds what, about 16,000?
I think it's that. I haven't looked,
And
what the exact numbers.
And
but
Allegiant at its most capacity is around 70,000.
yeah, so
So
that's
she
the
would have
whole
to do
thing.
8 shows at the Sphere to
Yeah.
make the same amount of money.
Yeah, for one show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, I think
Oh,
she's
she's
got the
two.
2 dates.
She's 2 dates.
2
yeah.
dates in Vegas.
Yeah, and Bay ain't gonna play that way.
Yeah.
Why should she work that hard? I
Yeah.
mean, she doesn't need to.
No.
She doesn't need to be at Sphere for 8 to 10, something like that. But yeah, dates playing
Mhm.
every night. And I gotta say, I don't blame her.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, the Sphere is really cool. More and more artists now are, I mean, that's one of our other stories that I won't mention yet. But more,
No, go ahead.
Oh, well, Backstreet Boys. So for the third time now, they've, said, hey,
Extended the residency.
they're extended their residency.
All the millennials out there.
Yeah.
Our boy band favorite.
boy band fanatics.
Yeah.
They,
Backstreet Boys are coming.
yeah.
And they're extending the residency too, I think, right?
Yeah, they're extending
That's what came
it.
out this week.
Yeah, the weekend of
I'm
August.
not going to go Backstreet's back. All right. It's
But he
not going
just
to be.
did. But he just you guys have no idea. We're just so music oriented. It's just like, it's in our brain.
And you can't get Beyoncé to come to the Sphere, but you can't get rid of the Eagles. The Eagles,
Right? They've nested.
they've.
They've nested. They're laying eggs and they're just adding
I'm not saying the
dates.
Eagles are bad or anything.
No, I'm just saying
But like every time they're like, oh, these are the last shows. But you know what? Maybe that's because maybe some of this was actually supposed to be some of the newer artists that, or I should say, the newer artists to play the Sphere that they're hoping for. So they're leaving some of these schedules open.
That's a good point. Yeah.
And they could have been hoping for Miss Queen Bee. And
Miss
didn't
Queen
get
Bee
it, so they're
said-
like, "Hey, let's fill in with, hey, you want an extended residency, Backstreet Boys? Hey, the Eagles, you want to play about 5 more dates in the year?"
It'll be interesting because I know that there was talk, and it still hasn't been like no, it's not happening. I haven't heard anything for Harry Styles. That was another one they were
Yes.
looking at, and I know they were very serious about that, and he was interested. So that'll be interesting to see if they will get him because that's another huge name.
And you know what? And people are gonna think it's crazy that we have never been to the Sphere yet, and
Well,
yeah, they we just heard this week, speaking of news, that they have a new 20% off for locals. Right?
woohoo!
See, but the problem with that whole 20% discount for locals is that they've already raised it 30% from the initial.
It was like $100, I believe. Was it last year or the year before? It
Well,
doesn't
yeah.
matter. It was $100
For just the postcards from Earth.
Yeah, for
which
locals,
is like
I believe.
45 minutes to an hour.
and now they've raised it
Yeah. So now if we're locals and we get the 20% discount, it still costs about $150 each.
with all the additional fees.
Yeah, service fees are what, $50 or something? Or
I would like to know, seriously. I mean, I get it, but I would like to know what is an electronic transfer fee? Oh, so you could send it to my email,
Mhm.
or because you're doing it on the computer? No, I don't. I'm so sick of fees. Fee after fee after fee after on one ticket.
Mhm.
So for other people, that this is locals,
Yeah.
that it'll come out to that.
But
but for-
$150
No.
a ticket to see a just under an hour movie, even though it looks fantastic.
Amazing.
That's crazy. And here, I would love, and I know you would too. I would love to see the Wizard of Oz at the
Yeah,
Sphere.
I was so looking forward to it. I'm like, look, I don't.
We're gonna try to work some angles so that if you don't know, if you haven't been keeping up with our monthly newscasts, Wizard of Oz at the Sphere has been enhanced for the Sphere, and it is coming August 28th.
Yeah, it
and-
opens on August 28th. That's the first day of opening.
And
of
some of our
public.
friends, like Vegas Revealed, they got to go to a little press thing last couple weeks ago,
Mhm.
and they showed like a little preview of it with Dorothy and how they've extended the whole AI, filled in the sides and everything.
It looks so.
It looks
just
amazing.
unbelievable.
And I know a lot of people will really bag on like, oh, AI, you're messing with the integrity of the film.
Not for that one.
And
Nope.
I think you really have to. Technology, yes, comes into. They said that about any kind of new technology that would come around.
Anytime.
Even when the television came. Oh well,
Yeah.
So I think this is going to be really, really cool. Addition to make the Wizard of Oz just come to life
Well,
even more for the 21st century.
Yeah.
They really want to keep true to the
Yeah.
original movie.
True to the original movie.
And yet have a new perspective when you've got the Sphere with that huge
Screen.
screen and the wraparound screen. You've got to do something.
Right.
And
right.
apparently they've been working on this at least just even the final stages for like at least a year, and probably been planning.
More
We even
than
heard
that.
rumors of that when it first
Yeah.
the
Wasn't-
Sphere first opened.
Yeah.
There was rumors about this
Yeah.
just tickling around, and
Yeah, they
so
were just talking
probably,
about things they may want to do.
So obviously, I mean, something like that is a huge undertaking. So they probably have been working on it for 3 to 4 years. And, even a couple of years ago in one of our newscasts, we talked about how out in LA, they have like a little mini Sphere
Yeah.
where they can test out all the footage.
Yeah.
So then when they put it up in the real Sphere here in Vegas, they know what it's going to look like.
Mhm,
So,
mhm.
Yeah, that's
I
that's gonna
want to
be
go
crazy.
see that. Yeah, but I was really surprised when I read that, that discount for locals. Like,
Yep.
yeah, really? Are you sure about that?
Yep. Yep.
uh,
And you know, we're gonna get into this probably next week, but if you've seen like the Excalibur staycation, you've heard about the MGM layoffs and everything. And a lot of stuff going on with MGM, and we're going to talk about that next week, along with your Vegas tea time stories. Again, sending your tea time stories. Again, we are going to be reading them, and it's just a combination of your spilling the tea of your Vegas tea time and us spilling the tea on Vegas headlines, right?
yep, yep.
So, hope you've enjoyed this new additional
Hey,
format.
some people have said they wanted the tea time longer.
Yep. So this
So,
is episode 5, month 2 of Vegas Tea
wow,
Time.
that's crazy.
And yeah, if you like this video, please share it with your people. We've said before that I was telling Christina, like when it comes to a podcast, it's like we're setting up and we're starting up, I should say, we're starting up like a new sub channel within our channel because a lot of people don't have time for podcasts.
No,
And
I
we're going to,
know.
what I think I'm going to work on too is maybe transferring just the audio of this so that maybe we can get it up on, like Apple Music and Spotify and get those all out there in
Look
audio.
at
So,
Jeff going everywhere with the podcast.
yeah, that'll be eventually. I think we could do that and have that appear so that if people are driving or they're just listening to AirPods, they could hear the conversation. Because a lot of times people are working in the yard, they can't just put a screen in front of them.
Right,
Or
right.
even their phone. So it's like,
Right.
oh, I'm going to go work out in the garden and I'll put my headphones in.
A lot of people do that
Yeah.
with podcasts. They're just,
Yeah. And that's why they're popular. That's why you have an audio version. So if you like these videos, please give us a big thumbs up. We'd really appreciate it.
Yep. Big
And
thumbs up.
yep, and subscribe to our channel. We've got a ton. Look at that. I forgot you bought
It's either dinner's ready.
Dinner's Never Ready. We have your tea time,
Yep.
and it's served up ready for you every week here on J&K Stay in Vegas. So again, thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, turn on those bell notifications to be
See?
alerted to all these videos.
Bell notifications.
Right.
That's why I got it.
Turn on those notifications so you could be alerted to all of our new videos and
Can
our
I
live streams.
Can I say something real quick about
Yes.
the bell notifications?
Yes.
A lot of people say, "Oh, I didn't see your stream. I didn't get a notification." And a lot of YouTubers know this. Please make sure you're subscribed because somehow YouTube somehow unsubscribes people and they don't get the notifications. So we have nothing to do with it. It's not on our end, but just check your subscription to see that you're subscribed. Or yeah, that's been going on for quite a while now, and even big YouTubers are saying please check to make sure you're subscribed because next thing you know you won't be, and then you won't. We even had people that have said, "Oh, I haven't seen you guys for a while. I'm so glad you're back. We've been here every day, every week, every Saturday, and they're surprised to see us."
So we have, not to extend the outro anymore, but we got Movie Mondays on Mondays. We got another new series coming up, another day of the week. We have our Walk with Jeffs. We have now our Vegas Tea Time.
Fridays,
And
Saturday live streams.
Saturday live streams. On Sundays, we try to have something different, like a staycation or something other vloggy kind of stuff. Sometimes it is just a walk with Jeff, depending on how busy I am in the week, because I do real estate and I am a one-man band here. And yeah,
He's very
sometimes I
busy.
need to drink a little sip of my water
Out of your J&K cup.
out of my J&K shameless plug for our new store.
I was gonna say
that
our new
is
store.
finally live on our YouTube channel.
That's
if you want
been
to
a
find out,
headache.
if you want to find out how you can get this J&K mug or a beanie for summer of 105 degrees,
Everybody needs a beanie in Vegas
or
during
if you want
summer.
if you want one of those tall travel mugs, like the Stanley
I
Cup.
do.
Yeah,
Mhm.
one of those.
No Stanley cups.
Yeah.
Not the Stanley Cup. those Stanley mugs.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
If you want any of those are live in our store right now. Just click the link in the description. And if there's something that you don't see on there, we only have a few products. If there's something
Yeah.
you don't see, there's some T-shirts. You can grab some T-shirts. If there's something you don't see, please DM us, and we will see if it's available. Oh, we have magnets too up there.
Oh, we do?
Yeah,
That's
and
what I was
there's
looking
like
for
three
before.
different sizes too. So if you want to find out how to get the J&K coffee mug, it comes in white too. Head over to our store, and that way you can support us as well. Right, Christina?
Yes, Jeff.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Until next time, stay safe.
And stay silly.
Bye-bye, everybody.